What up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of, actually, a bonus edition of How to Survive a Podcast. The podcast that allows you to tell you what to do and, more importantly, what not to do to maximize your time as a guest or panelist on a podcast. And as always, this podcast and others in the Jazzy Groove Rainy Day Podcast family are brought to you by the power of five. You like what you're doing? Like what we're doing, excuse me. Show you a little support? Hit the like button at the very least. Okay, here we go. Let's get involved. This bonus episode is going to go into painful detail on what not to do, or more importantly, how to get your ass kicked off the podcast. And it's not that hard. As stated in earlier podcasts, the number one thing that you will be asked to do in the pre show warm up is do not over talk the host. Period. That's if there's one thing to take away from this podcast, that's it. Don't do it. If the host is saying something, wait till it seems like he's finished. Then wait another second or two and then interject. Because then it gives the appearance of, okay, they're listening to what I'm saying, as opposed to just shooting off whenever because you're triggered. And triggered is never a good look, ever. So you got people who will say the weirdest things, go off on tangents, go around the houses, say whatever's on their mind, whether it's germane to the intelligent to the conversation or not. They might tie it up and come back around. More times than not, they don't. And what they do is two things. In the beginning, it's funny. It's content. It's great. But it quickly becomes not so great. It becomes annoying. You begin to wear out your welcome, and ultimately, if you do it enough, you're shown the door. And even then, you can continue to do it simply by not leaving when you're asked to leave, causing a scene. And in that case, then the authorities are called and you're forcibly removed from the premises. And you could possibly be brought up on charges. All this because you didn't want to move. Really? That's what we're doing now? I think not. There was a video where it was two videos. And right now, my system, we're in the process of working on it. It's not acting the way it should, so I can't show it right now. But ultimately, it's about this girl. We'll call her a girl who used to do OnlyFans, used to be heavily into the more pornographic side of it, who then decided to give it up and preach the Bible, have Bible studies on her OnlyFans. It started on Fresh and Fit. It ended on whatever. Shout out to whatever and the Fresh and Fit podcast people. To say it was a mess is a gross understatement. It's probably one of, if not the most underrated things you will ever hear come out of my mouth ever. Because this girl was talking out of both sides of her neck. And it came out, I mean, it's bad enough on Fresh and Fit because she wound up getting Frank castled, I believe. Because she just because they caught her early and they kept coming back to her because it made no sense. She said she's a virgin and she's on OnlyFans. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt for a second. Let's say she was on OnlyFans. And let's say she didn't do anything sexual, which is a stretch on its own. But let's say that she did. When you think of OnlyFans, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Sex. That would make the people that frequent this platform are sexual in nature, which would mean that the creators that produce content for this platform are sexual in nature. Now you might not do that. You might spout the Bible in a nightgown. But, and here is the qualifier. Here's the qualifier. But because the platform itself is known for sex, then you must do sex, irrespective of if you do or not. And to make matters worse, when she then went on whatever, and Brian was talking to her about it and basically saying what Myron was saying in Fresh and Fit, is that you've got people in the chat who took it upon themselves as a challenge when you said that you were a virgin and you're on OnlyFans to find out what you were about, found out what you were about, found out that you did not show you do the Bible stuff like that, had videos of you being promiscuous, engaging in sexual acts, and then you double, tripled, and quadrupled down on it. Miss me with that. You're a thought. Plain and simple, you are a thought. And she wound up getting kicked off the Fresh and Fit podcast. She also wound up getting kicked off of whatever. The problem with the whatever podcast, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again because it's worth saying. Brian is extremely giving. He can say that you're off the podcast. You can walk off the podcast and say, "Where you go? We're going to come back, come back, come back." No. You have outlived your usefulness. You want to go? Go. Bye-bye. We have some lovely parting gifts for you in the back. And no, you're never coming back. You want to leave? You can leave. But there will be consequences for you leaving. And one of those consequences are you are banned from the show. Don't worry about coming back or not. You won't be asked. And you can say what you want. You can do what you want. But you're not going to do it over here. And you're not going to say it over here. This girl was the epitome of doublespeak, backhanded compliments. She said that she was going to F somebody up. And the thing was, she didn't say, and there was a difference. She didn't say that she'd F somebody up on Fresh and Fit. She did say that on whatever. To this Asian girl who's also an OnlyFans girl. She said to her, Wouldn't say it on Fresh and Fit because those females on that podcast, especially the black ones, will thump you just as easily as look at you. They will beat you down. They'll all in. And we'll be right back in a minute. Yeah. Can we have ice cream? Let me buy me some dish can. Okay, thank you. And we're back. Sorry for that. Getting back into it. This female was out of pocket. She was ratchet. She was full of herself. You, she was the type. It got to the point, and I know I was saying this, and I'm quite sure if you watched it, you were probably saying the same thing. If you can show that many people calling you out, saying, "No, you're a hoe. No, you're a hoe," and here's the receipts. We got proof. Here's the proof. You got all these people on multiple broadcasts, multiple podcasts, saying the same thing, and yet you still wholeheartedly, with your chest out, say it wasn't me. You got to go because there's no point in you being there. We're not going to sway you. You're definitely not swaying us. What's the point of you being there? Bye bye. Have a happy. Now, hopefully, in the next day or so, we'll have this browser problem sorted out, and I'll be able to show you. We're definitely going to come back to this because in order for me to really do this podcast justice, you got to see it because it's mind-boggling. The delusion, the debauchery, and base stupidity of this female is awe-inspiring. You're like, wow. Oh, wow, man, wow. I don't believe you. We got all this proof, and you still deny it. Oh, wow. It is truly a sight to behold. But we're going to cut this one and make it short because we're going to get back to trying to fix this video issue with the browsers and everything. Hopefully in the next day or so we'll put the second half of this up. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Peace be with you, and I'll see you soon.